I'll just straight away when I go up the controller because I kind of forgot I don't have one. I don't know if it works with it. Probably not. No, it doesn't. Damn it. I'm playing this with mouse and keyboard then. Mouse 1, takes screen to F5, pause game. Turn left. Battery. Headphones. Extras, what? Save? Nah. Sure. Let's go. The end is never loading. It's really annoying I'm not playing a mouse. Oh, I could done DS for Windows. I will do it now. So I'm playing keyboard and mouse, and it's really weird because it shrunk down the screen.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big.
Big. I know, probably don't like this. I think I broke it.
Where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-ripping, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Very easy job.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow.
His text size
No
went
one had
from
showed
12
up to give
to
him
58.
instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Oh, I need to put mouse acceleration on if I'm using a trackpad. Right. Do I say I'm going to ban the controller. It's probably going to be easier for me. Where is the DS Windows section? I can't move the Windows tab on fucking. I was gonna bring it up on the screen, but I can't. Profiles, new. Plug the controller in first of all. There's a left USB key. What the fuck am I thinking? Right. Oh, right. So yeah, it's a 360 controller. It's not a 360 controller. Alright. Just use the D-pad. I found left stick first. Left stick up. It's going to be W. I found out. S left A right D and cross. Wait, is left. Where's A? Square, triangle, cross. Cross is now left mouse click. That's what I need. Sure, save profile. Controllers, run that. And let's try again. What's the full screen? It didn't work. God damn it.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
It didn't work. It should work. Because I really don't want to put W8. I mean, there's no time and scary things in it for rushing, but.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh, the broom closet could go there.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track. There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Oh, duct tape, you need that. Yeah, for the corona.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
I'll jump.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing?
Yes.
Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
It's much fun. Why can't...
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever.
Nah.
I never would have thought to mention it.
What is that? It's so low pixels, I don't know what it is.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favourite."
It is.
I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Good for Stanley, getting in there.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead.
Maybe.
You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway. Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Go again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I can't jump. I saw the jump key aside. I can't also go
When
on
Stanley
console.
came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I can't go to the console menu because...
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to... Oh no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
No. I'm going again. Bloom clause Andy.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yeah, I can't answer console because of
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I can't walk, can't turn well. Ooh.
Stepping.
Yeah. Space one. Oh my god, walking down these stairs. That's why I wanted to sit. Okay, there's a little loading screen error I'm seeing. Most PCs are running too fast or too slow. As I'm walking through doors. Whee! I remember a lot from this game. You are now leaving. Yay! I can't see a thing. I need to put brightness up. Very silent, I don't like it. Oh my god. Let's have to get like 40 levels climbing. Oh my this mouse. It's not used to using this much. I'm using my middle finger and it's working well. And I've jinxed it. Yay! Escape! Bye, door. And it teleport you outside the map. Whee.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
No, we're never gonna do it properly.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Done with the third one is. There. No? I think the boss's computer was there.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Probably wish I had the.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Oh, my laptop's dying. Oh, lagged frames detected. Yeah, I don't know how long I've been streaming for. I want the controller to work, I really do. It's 'cause without a mouse it's really difficult. Controller one isn't yet. Right stick on. Right stick, mouse to the left. Oh, I just set right stick up to mouse left. Right stick left to left. Save. So it does work. Controllers. I did not sit down. Save. There we go, yeah. I'm using the controller there.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Come on. All the buttons are working. Just try something really stupid. Oh, I clicked begin the game, did I? Pissed. No, it's not letting me do WSD, but let's do camera with.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Really slowly.
What could it mean?
A works, just WASD doesn't work. Oh, for sake. I'm not impressed.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I've got the control to my camera. Not walking. This seems easy like this.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
It's slightly easy to play.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
There it is. In the game again. One more time.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
It's the 8 room, isn't it? I'm sure I shouldn't find noises.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure.
No, he
What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me.
And he died and went to heaven.
But Stanley's...
Look at that. Look at low frame rate. Hey, Kim might run better now. He look better.
Simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy.
Yay.
Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by?
No, only
He no
seconds.
longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit
Set
closer.
accelerations keep going. Ooh.
Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Did.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Whee. To the right.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, but eager to get back to business. Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No, he didn't.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing in your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story... What? Really? I was in the middle of something.
Yes,
Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
I like the blue one more though. Please move my colour.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
The grey door. The blue door.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
A door. Is it? I've already got the yellow path trail.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Whoa.
No, wait. Where are you going?
Whoa, this place is a bit dirty.
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Wee. Wee.
No! Oh, thank God you lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room? There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
I'm spinning. No.
Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this.
Okay. This is just... Nope. Fuck yourself, I'm jumping off. Jumping jumping off.
No. No, no. What do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
Alley-oop. Oh,
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
go on. One more time.
Yes. Perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about.
No. I think I have to go to the centre of the room, then I can...
I know you'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you?
No. See you sad.
No, perhaps not. My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
No, but maybe. Whee! Oh my God.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask.
Maybe.
It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
I'll go back to the room. Go back to the room just to make him happy.
Do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me? I wanted us to be happy here, Stanley. I really did. I wish I still thought that was possible.
Yeah, but it's on a loop. It's like a VR chat world, actually. Okay. Gotta say, he's got some strong legs. He jumped off, what was this, 4 or 5 stories? Skadoosh.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it?
It is.
I'm going back.
Yay!
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his
right.
left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Alright, look at this open door on the left.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
Myself.
What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
Yes.
Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Oh, you opened the other way.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
That gives you a chance.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley? All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see?
Yeah.
There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map. Because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted?
Yeah.
Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here.
Ooh. Ooh, there's a lot of lag frames today. 9% over the last 2 minutes.
And help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you
Guns.
want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely
cool.
nothing so far.
Come on.
Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
No, taking left door.
Okay,
Whoa.
I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Yeah.
Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door?
What's in the room?
Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try.
That's the door. I was like,
Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Wow. Is that worldwide leaderboard? Pretty cool room.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect.
No, of course
Let
not.
me boot it up.
Whee.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards
doing
danger.
this.
You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
I'm not doing it. This. But what?
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me.
Different game.
I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Let's go, come on. We're playing Minecraft.
Well, Stanley, is this any better?
Nah, pretty
At
old
last,
version.
the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough?
No, it's not modded.
Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here. No, here. And then...
Baby's first Minecraft
Let's
house.
see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy.
I'm a dragon. No, it's not.
But you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it
No, I gotta
out
make it
of
never
diamond.
right. Come on.
Diamond everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Well, I have to go along. You got invulnerability.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
No, but I can see with high brightness.
Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
I'm stuck. Isn't it Paul? I don't remember.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is. Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
I don't know how you do it. How do you break the puzzle? There. Almost. I know there's a way to break it and explains you for even doing that. Fuck, come on. Um, yeah, I figure where it's gonna go.
Genius. No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're any wiser for the experience.
Oh. Oh, I want the radio. The radio! Into the beta game. So fucking dark. See anything? Alright, door on the left and go to the office. So the two open doors. He entered the door on his left. I mean, really sharp. That's where I started. A light. Ooh. So I can't jump. Number 427. What has we doing? Wondering. There we go.
I wonder what he found.
The beta.
If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon.
Very soon.
Very soon.
Wow.
I can wait.
He can't. The lie. I think I actually have to end it myself. Oh no.
Hi, Stanley. Just wanted to leave you a message to let you know there's a few things I need you to pick up on your way home from work today. We need milk, cereal, dish soap, spaghetti, get a thing of sugar, some bread, and coffee beans, whichever ones you like. I'll give you a call if there's anything I forgot. Thanks, sweetie. See you tonight.
Wow. The narrator's not in here.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Is the broom closet open yet?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
To be rich is a crime, to commit crimes isn't rich. A life would be to have picked just one. Ooh, elevator. Going up. Dun. Stanley. We went nowhere.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud
that's a number.
to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. but his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be?
That's a number.
In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Right.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Button.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them,
was a staircase.
eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
That was a staircase. Please say it's an employee number. This one's it. 442. It's the staircase, man.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible?
Of course it was.
Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Hooray!
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty.
My chill is fucking freezing.
Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
Were they? He's lost.
And Stanley was happy.
Stanley was by himself and alone in a world he wouldn't have known. Achievement unlocked, beat the game. We've got a problem. Options, keyboard, mouse, the keys. This is console. It's that thing, but it doesn't work. Assign this to B. Okay. Doesn't work because it's not on Steam. So there's no console in Epic Games.
All of his co-workers were gone.
I can't get the
What did
SVG
it mean?
setting.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
No.
That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Fun.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read
Escape.
Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Adventure.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Nah, we're gonna escape.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
We're escaping. Is it by there? Escape pod. Just got to drop down into it. We did.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever.
Yep.
Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Flies. Bye. Ooh.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the
Right.
narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Boxes, crates, and barrels.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What
No.
exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Number 1, number 2, number 3. Buttons. The boss's office. Employee lounge. Underground. I prefer that big escape door. It's nicer. Narrow to 8.
Stanley pushed the number 6.
The voice and the recorded dialogue for the entire game roughly 3 separate times over 2 years.
See how it's impossible for the player to do anything in this room. Perfect example of poor level design, textbook mistake. It's the kind of thing you pick up on intuitively.
Adventure. We just keep clicking left click. We've been to that area. Green light. In September 2012 we submitted the percentage to green light valves process of still can't open into console control. Warzone. The ending was Stanley would end up in a battle for fighting Ace. This game would be sent in and wouldn't be waged war against the narrator. We realised shortly after starting to build it was falsely joking on those sort of the game, plus some people would interpret it as making fun of those shooters, which was not my intent. Alien base, awesome. You both still trying to find the files for that area. Is there a question brought? And I sent a use memory. Narrative images. After the second trailer we sent out, we asked people. The lounge. Just the lounge, 2 seats. The office. Apartment timer. Oh, you can undo the phone in the end. See, there's a map. One option. What's this? What does it say? Meeting room. Maintenance layout. The following of the hallways. The flow of the hallways following the first 2 doors was important to get right, since players will replay them so many times. We discussed a number of designs, but I'll meet the simplest version. One at one. Vent. Bay display lounge. Animate. Where are we? Is this one here? This room. It's the ending model. Here is this room represents the fourth version of the ending, and we thought it was complete, but we decided to abandon it and change it. Escape menu. A long time we had, and it only ended when the player restarted it from the escape room. If you played realize this is what you're supposed to do. These levers were originally the ending, which the player would pull at the lever no arrows to describe what colour. Oh, come on. I want to hit red. So, oh, it eventually cut, okay. The original desk. Oh. Freedom ending, or just that one? Elevator. Game design mock-up. There's kind of all this. Probably number 427. The offices. Oh shit, when I need office.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
Nah.
No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game.
Alright. I trust her. Oh, she lied to me. 8. Open the door 430. And she lied to me. I can't believe it. Oh,
But
God
Stanley simply
Stanley just saw the paper on the
all
floor
of his
and was like,
co-workers
"No."
were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a
No,
memo.
I've got to restart. It's 430. I click it 430 times. I'll do it. 1, 2.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I want to do the yellow line path, but I remember I'll do it. Longer hallway this time.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Where's the vent?
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room that called so deeply and so personally to Stanley? Its grace,
Break time.
its subtle charm? No. Stanley knew it was something deeper, something darker. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
This thing looks very enticing. We're going on an adventure.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right,
Take a list
left,
of fun options.
down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Wow, this looks nice.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to,
Can't read that paper
Who
clip,
am I
but-
kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Hooray.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Adventure. Back in a minute. Oh, damn it. Oh, hello. Oh, no. Oh, it's still working. This way. And we made it.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on.
Ah,
I can
pretty
promise
fun.
you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Hey.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Of course.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Oh.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story?
Of course it is.
I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley?
It did.
Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Yay. Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Right, but they won. He's robbed me and won. I can't believe it.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line.
Yay.
Just follow the line. How simple is that? You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that.
10,
you know
9,
what?
8,
I think what
7.
we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
I'm so lost. This is for the move.
Wait, cut the music. Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything. Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart. You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something
Yay.
exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction? Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be,
guys, get
Stanley, I'm ready for it.
On the line back.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine. Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control.
No, it's not.
How important, we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're
Quite
telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what?
Yeah.
Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide?
Just then don't
Why
just
don't
black
I
space.
get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait, you know. I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination, so I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you do happen to have a...
How loud that is.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
So where's the way to get onto the windowsill? Go through the window or whatever. Plug the phone, I'll go to the end.
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Right. Whee!
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Whee!
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
No, not.
Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Where's she?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to... Oh, no, you can't... Did you just unplug the phone?
Yeah.
Now, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
My God, is it
Excellent.
11:20?
Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please. Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality. Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Hooray.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Was it going to be
Feeling a wave
normally?
of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping
Or
he
in
might
closet.
find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs
Wait,
to his boss's
There was no
office.
downstairs. Oh, this is different.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Night Shark 115. Oh.
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Stanley's voice doesn't work. Night Shark 115, I held out.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you?
Doesn't work.
Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step. Okay, fine, you're not gonna do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
That's the door left, yay.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
This is
Feeling a
the
wave
lead,
of
as opposed to the
disbelief,
right.
behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yay. So lost what's happening. I think I have to take the right.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
Yeah, I have to take the right door.
behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Well, you game kept resetting if I keep going left. It's a pretty good reason, like. Ooh.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed
Everything
my work.
is okay.
Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone? Left here like so much garbage. It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do?
So many frame skips in this here.
No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
You can see it. Whoa.
Whoa! I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You, who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child.
There's no world outside. Coronavirus
My
is
story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door.
Yay.
Are you listening to me?
I gotta win at the end.
Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right.
He's so sad.
I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
I don't know if I just... What's the point of saving if you... See, you can't actually load saves. I'm done. Well, you can load game, I guess you can. click escape just because it's been annoying. I'm done. Good luck. Yeah, it's fine.